Hey there, scrapbook friends. Suzanne here in the studio today talking about Close to My Heart's Scrapbooking Workshop, Backyard Bliss. This is a very, very fun workshop and one that includes lots and lots of die cuts. So this is not really one that's very easy to make do with the sticker sheet and paper pack. You really do need all of the lovely die cuts that come in this one. In addition to showing you that I got 3 extra pages from the materials here, I also did a little bit of stepping up the glitz on the pages using shimmer trim and shimmer brushes. So let's get started, shall we? Here is the first one. And of course, it's this big heart die cut that really steals the show, isn't it? This is very, very, very pretty. And you get lots of these heart die cut pieces left over too. The technique on this one is to use sponging. So you can see here I've sponged around the heart a little bit and I've sponged behind this love title. Let me give you a couple of tips on how I go about sponging. First of all, instead of using a sponge, I prefer using a blending brush. And this is just a makeup blending brush that I got real cheap, so that's what I have been using. But the good news is that Close to My Heart in their new core catalog has blending brushes. So the way I go about this is I do not just stamp on the pad and then go direct to paper. I stamp on the pad. I actually blend a little in the lid and then I go to paper. And you can see how very subtle that is. And then I could always keep going. I could always add more, but you don't want to get those real hard edges by going straight to paper. Okay. Of course, they say that you can do this with a foam dauber or a foam handle. That is a little trickier. I am not as good at that, but if you do that, you could go direct to paper, and you can, if you want that very speckled look. The problem is you don't want the circle. So I try to do this, and I'm just not as good at this, and it really does take a little bit of time. And I'm told that if just a very light touch and keeping your brush at an angle, but still, it's a little bit different look, I think. There, you can kind of see a close up. This is the blending brush, and then this is a foam dauber. And of course, I think the foam actually works better too on distress inks because they handle a little bit differently. But on a plain old Close to My Heart water-based ink, I think a blending brush is really the way to go. So if you don't have those in your stash already, you might want to see what's in the Close to My Heart catalog, okay? The other thing I did here was I used the shimmer trim, and you can see it here. I did 3 strips of it across these Polaroid frames. And then I also used a hole punch and punched out some circles and used those as almost as if they were glitter gems. And then finally, behind these 2 hearts and one of the hearts over here, I added shimmer brush. I did not have the papaya, but I did have the peach. So that is what I used. So those are the first 2 pages. Easy peasy. The second set, the second double, this is very pretty as well. I really like this. Here we have this grid of 3-inch circles. And to tack down the sort of overlay sheet, I just, drew a tic-tac grid with my adhesive. And that still allows me to get into all 4 corners. And then once I've replaced this with a photo, I can tack that down with extra adhesive. Again, here I use the blending brush around each of those circles to soften that line. And I did a little bit around the edge, but mostly I was sticking to around the circles to soften up next to the photo. And then this page is pretty self-explanatory too. You've got these circles to work with. And then for glitzing on this page, I decided to use some leftover Bluebell gems. So you can see there, I've got those there. Silver or gold would be really pretty on these. So if you have some gold glitter gems. Okay. Let's look at this. It's very pretty. Very pretty. Okay. That's the second set. Now we go to the third. This one I like a lot. Now here I did make one small substitution as well as some additions. The substitution was down here. This cluster originally called for one of the bird stickers. I did not use the bird sticker because I wanted all three for my next layout. I've added some shimmer trim here in 3 places again. And then over here on this, I added these extra hearts. We've done some sponging or blending behind the die cut here. But then I decided we have so many of these hearts, I decided to stack 3 of them with their bottoms all equivalent like that. I thought that made a cute thing. And I don't know, it keeps your eye from going all the way off the page as well. So I like that. I also used a few of the extra small hearts that I use shimmer brush on as more accents. Because I like a little glitz on my pages. How about you? Alrighty, now we come to what I did. At this point, you still had a full sheet of this wood grain paper, as well as 3/4 of a sheet. So what I did, in order to preserve the wood and these nail holes, top and bottom, that is 3 inches from the top and 3 inches from the bottom of each page, I sliced the paper, and then this middle section I flipped over so that you can see the mink chicken wire. Because I thought that'd be really cute, because I'm going to use my 3 chicken stickers. These 2 are talking to each other behind the fence, and this one up here is having his dinner. I actually put a few little dots of ink there so that it looks like he's pecking at seeds. Let me show you a close-up of the clusters. Here on this one we have the sticker, and then this I believe is a piece of the paper that I cut down. And then we've got the daisy, as well as this is from a Picture My Life card. I cut down, they had a piece that had several of these long sort of labels on it, so I picked the one with the daisy. And then I did a little bit up here using Lay in the Sun, Harvest Love, and Feed the Birds, because this is talking about gardening. Because when you get over here, our big title, this is a Picture My Life card, and it is layered on top of this other Picture My Life card that had the little chickens on it. And then down here I've done a flip flap, and again I've used this green dotted pattern, so we've got that in both places, as well as a darker green one up here. And then I've got this is a Picture My Life card, and then on top of it I've rested a 3-inch square. I got 2 of those out of one Picture My Life card, and then I've trimmed down my photo to be 275 by 275. And then I was consistent about doing that. Okay, then when you flip this up, of course, we've got room for 2 more pictures. Let's see, is there anything else I needed to tell you about? Oh, as far as using this, you have a single piece of this left after you cut your papers. I cut enough to have the right amount to cover a full 12 by 12 sheet over here. So this is, I think it's about 3.5 inches if I remember right. And then I just used the rest over here. You could, if you wanted, put it all the way to the end, but for some reason I thought these looked more grounded if I actually used it here. And it's always a little more interesting than to have it always, having the dark colors always at both ends. Okay. And then I used some Bluebell glitter gems, finishing off that package. So I was really happy with how that turned out. If you don't have the Picture My Life cards, you could do just a different kind of photo arrangement on this side. And in that case, I would find another piece of paper, another piece of cardstock to use, and I would go ahead and do photo mats as well. Okay. Hope that's helpful. I really like how this one turned out. And then finally, I didn't have a whole lot left, but I had this pretty paper and I didn't really want to make cards. So I went looking for inspiration, and I only had to go back as far as September 2021 in page maps, and this particular layout sketch here caught my eye. And so here is my version of that. My base is shortbread cardstock, and then I've used another piece of sapphire cardstock from my stash. And then of course the focal point is this big love title. And this is actually just the negative at the top part of your sheet of chipboard. And I just carefully trimmed it, and then I used a little bit of that mink chicken wire paper behind it. Then I've got my two long stickers that I still had left. I used those here and here, and I used part of a zip strip here to have a little color peeking out, so just give it a little interest. This cluster down here is just cut down from a Picture My Life card. And then I've added in some of the wood chipboard and stickers to kind of give it a little bit more up and down, different layers, different levels of layers. This Bloom and Grow Forever was actually right below here, and I just trimmed it carefully, fishtailed the ends. And then actually at the end is when I decided to go ahead and add a little shimmer brush. And that's pretty easy. I just use a paper towel to cover up what I don't want to get splattered, and then of course flick my shimmer brush. And I've got a few more of those shimmer trim dots that I did. And then the Sweetheart, this actually just happened to be a piece of a leftover that was sitting on my desk. So I just went ahead and added it since the color worked fine. So there you have it. I hope you have enjoyed these extra layouts that I've shown you. And if you have time and enjoyed the video, I hope you will like and subscribe. As always, I appreciate your time and attention. Bye for a bit.